For over 30 years, the Christian Institute has been a much-needed Christian influence in a secular world. It began because a group of friends became convinced that Christians needed to be more confident in speaking out on vital issues in the public square. In God's grace, it has grown from its humble beginnings in Colin Hart's spare room in the late 1980s to a UK-wide charity employing around 50 committed evangelical Christians. Not only at our headquarters in Newcastle upon Tyne, but across the UK. This means we now have staff working across a variety of specialised areas, including education, public policy, and law. Since 2006, we have handled numerous landmark religious liberty cases on behalf of Christians, including supporting B&B owners Peter and Hazel Mary Bull, marriage registrar Lillian Liddell, public servant Adrian Smith, and the case that made headlines around the world, Asher's Baking Company. We've also taken on the Scottish Government's unlawful named person scheme, and even global tech giant Google. Away from the headlines, the legal team helps more than 200 people every year. From its earliest years, the Institute has promoted Christian teaching in schools. More recently, we have expanded our education department to deal with the increased pressure on Christian teachers, parents and pupils to endorse secular ideologies. This dedicated team also assists around 200 people every year. A key part of our work is influencing public policy, and the Institute has spearheaded a number of successful national campaigns to protect religious liberty, marriage and the family, and free speech, collaborating with the likes of Rowan Atkinson to ensure that Christians continue to be free to share what they believe. To this day, churches across the UK still benefit from the Institute's effort to ensure Christian organisations are free to only employ Christians. Without the CI, churches would have been forced to employ people whose lifestyles were incompatible with church teaching. We regularly work with politicians and civil servants in every jurisdiction, briefing them and challenging them so as to better influence our laws for the good of all. And for every issue we campaign on, we're also seeking to educate the public, Christians and non-Christians alike. Our own website, christian.org.uk, which gets around 350,000 visits a month, features news, analysis, MP voting records, and other resources. You can also find our content across major social media platforms. But if big cases and influencing public policy are key parts of our work, encouraging and equipping the church is even more so. Most years we meet around 20,000 supporters at more than 400 meetings around the UK and Ireland, helping them to understand our issues and regularly mobilising them to make the case for biblical morality to politicians at Westminster, Holyrood, Cardiff, Stormont and Leinster House. We produce many short, easy-to-read briefings on topical issues such as assisted suicide and conversion therapy, along with biblical teaching on connected topics like God's moral law and common grace. And it's not just publications. We have a vast array of digital content to help Christians grapple with these complex issues. In particular, our video Bible study series Living Christianity encourages Christians to live out their faith in every area of life. There's a youth version too, so that the next generation can be equipped to navigate life in today's world. In a society growing increasingly hostile to the truth of the Bible, the Christian Institute stands firm against the tide, seeking to protect gospel freedoms now and into the future. Join the more than 60,000 Christians and 5,000 churches that stand with us to be a Christian influence in a secular world at christian.org.uk/sign up.